Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
I mean, this process is ridiculous. How can a person just come there and say, just wait, and then we'll tell you how bad he is?
Some people living in Kindred, North Dakota reached out to our whistleblower hotline after they say a sex offender moved into their neighborhood without his threat level determined yet, meaning he could be deemed a high-risk offender, but that might not be decided for months. That prompted Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter, Bailey Hurley, to look into who makes these decisions and why it takes so long.
Well, it angers me. I mean, that's like putting a rattlesnake pit in your backyard, you know. I mean, it's just waiting for something bad to happen.
Receiving this notification from the Cass County Sheriff's Department was not what people in Kindred wanted to see, especially those like Johnson, who live just down the street from the Minnesota-based offender.
But just the thought of having him in the community just makes you sad that they have to be there.
But what made Johnson and his neighbors scratch their heads the most? The offender's risk level, undetermined.
I mean, we know it's bad, right? Obviously, he's registered, but the categorization of it is left unknown, and we won't know for months.
Kleinwachter was deemed a low-risk offender in Minnesota, but that doesn't mean he'll be the same here. However, determining how big of a threat he is to the public could take as long as 4 months.
Basically, their process is broken. There is no standard to relocate these people from state to state, which to me seems that there's something wrong with that. Why could another state just give us their issues without asking?
And despite popular belief, it's not the Cass County Sheriff's Department who determines what an offender's risk level is, rather a committee with the Attorney General in Bismarck.
And so, you know, in those times where we're waiting to get that risk level assessment back, it is, you know, somewhat of a hindrance for us.
I think there should be an application process for somebody like this to move into a new community, because right now we are stuck with a person that they have not categorized yet, and we have to wait months for that to happen. So basically they place them here and they say, we'll tell you how bad it is.
But Sheriff Jesse Johnner says the best way to speed up the process is simply just states having their paperwork better prepared.
It really comes down to how efficient can states be amongst each other to get this information from state to state, so that the state that this person's going to reside in can make a quicker assessment in reference to the risk level.
And because offenders can travel outside county and state lines for certain amounts of time without giving a heads up, Johnner urges you to remain vigilant at all times, not just because an offender moves to your block. And although Kleinwachter's assessment hasn't been done yet, Johnner says that doesn't mean the Sheriff's Department isn't monitoring and checking in with him or any undetermined offender. In Kindred,
they have to go somewhere. It's just unfortunate that he ended up here.
Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
This story came to us through our whistleblower hotline. So if you want us to investigate an issue or concern in your community, call us 237-6576 and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to find the truth. New at 10, authorities in Clay County are investigating tonight after a family in Glendon says they were mailed around 1,200 lethal doses of fentanyl. The Clay County Sheriff's Department says they have never seen anything like it. They say the package had white powder inside, and that powder was 2.5 grams of fentanyl. Deputies tell us the package came from out of state, and the address on it didn't entirely match the Glendon family's home, but ended up there. No other details are being released at this time because it is an active investigation. A warning for you tonight. A local woman says her mom got a call from a man offering to upgrade her Dish TV services for a charge. But instead of paying, that woman says she called Dish TV to see if it's legitimate. Turns out it's not. A representative with Dish TV told this woman this is a common scam happening right now. They say that kind of upgrade is a free service from Dish. If you get one of these calls and aren't sure if it's a scam, you're encouraged to call Dish to double check. More snow, even more wind and colder temps than we've seen the past couple days. Let's go to Hutch to find out what we can expect as we head out the door tomorrow morning. Hutch?
Andrea, thanks so much. We have hazy skies here over downtown Fargo as we head into the overnight hours. Conditions are going to deteriorate at least a little bit. Here is what we're seeing right now on the radar as we look toward Grand Forks, a batch of snow, moderate snow to heavy snow in Steele County right now, south of the Northwood area where you see the deep blue colors there. That's sliding off to the east of you in the Sharon area and heading towards Hatton. Grand Forks having some passing snow showers pushing through as well. Winter weather advisory for tonight, late tonight into the day tomorrow. As we'll have a lot of wind coming with the snow as we go towards morning. That's a look at Pembina, some flying flakes there. And the forecast shows the best chance for snow with accumulation will be in the Northern Valley. Temperatures to start your day for many above zero. So it's been worse. I'll have details on how much snow you can expect, and we'll talk a little bit about the rest of our work week here in just a moment.
All right, thanks, Hutch. Members of the West Fargo community are spreading awareness about social media. Both the West Fargo Public Schools and the city's police department partnered up for a social networking event tonight, and it was the third of a four-part series that discusses the impact of social media networks. Superintendent Beth Sleddy says she hopes it will open conversations between students and their families on the possible risks with social networking.
We just knew that we couldn't keep that information to ourselves, that we had to find a way to really get that information to our parents so that they know what's out there and we can learn together and help the children stay safe.
West Fargo Public Schools says there's one more student success forum on mental health in April. Initial reports of vandalism at a West Fargo historic site actually turned out to be human error, according to Cass County investigators. 200,000 gallons of water poured out of exterior water spigots at Bonanzaville for nearly 2 weeks. Valley News Team's Joshua Pagero joins us in the studio now with details on what happened. Joshua, what can you tell us?
Andrew, I can tell you investigators had one prime suspect, an ex-employee, yet they found he was not responsible for the incident at Bonanzaville. They also don't know who left the water on or how it was turned on. Back in January, there were initial reports of vandalism. Cass County investigators say from Christmas Eve to January 6th, on average, 10 gallons of water per minute poured on the Bonanzaville property. The water froze over, causing an ice buildup. Luckily, no damage was caused to any of the historic buildings. Bonanzaville was being rented out for an event on Christmas Eve, the day the incident started. After reviewing surveillance video and doing interviews, investigators concluded that the incident wasn't a deliberate act. The city of West Fargo says that the $200,000 of gallons of water that gushed out will cost Bonanzaville nearly $2,000. Andrea?
All right, thank you, Joshua. The Sheriff's Department has since closed its investigation into that incident, pending further evidence. A Minnesota House committee opened hearings Wednesday on a bill banning the controversial practice of using therapy to make gay people straight. The bill bans the use of gay conversion therapy on children under 18 or on vulnerable adults. At the state capitol, child survivors told horror stories about abuse they suffered from therapists who called them perverted. Supporters of Christian therapy lined up to oppose the bill, calling it an unconstitutional restriction on free speech and religious rights. One said the therapy helped him choose a better lifestyle.
My Christian faith tells me that God intended for sex to be shared between a married husband and wife, and that other sexual actions are not holy. I love Jesus more than I love my own desires, so I chose to pursue a heterosexual lifestyle.
Leading medical and psychological industry groups say conversion therapy is not an accepted practice. 14 states so far have restricted or banned its use. The Minnesota State Patrol is taking time to recognize the heroic acts brought on by citizens, troopers, and emergency personnel, employees in 2018. One of those being recognized is John Neurath. Troopers say Neurath risked his own life to help a trooper struggling with a suspect. We brought you the story in March of last year when a woman spun out just east of County Highway 336 in Moorhead. When officers approached the vehicle that had been reported stolen, one of the suspects pointed a gun at an officer. Troopers say Neurath stepped in to help, and after several minutes, the suspect was taken into custody.